Hey guys, what's going on? Gear End here. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the fairy tale Fire Dragon Lineage, where we're going to be going over the specific parts of the fire dragons we've seen so far in fairy tales, including of course Natsu the Dragon Slayer, and we're going to be discussing the future, if the fire dragon lineage will continue, or if Natsu is the last of the fire dragons / dragon slayers. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this video. So, firstly, let's go over the fairy tale dragon lineage as we know it. So, currently, the only person that can use fire dragon magic is Natsu, and he is the only living creature that can use fire dragon magic in the whole fairy tale wizard guild, and that also includes the world, because technically nobody else can be taught dragon slaying magic unless it's from a dragon. So Natsu is really the only one currently that is alive that can use dragon slaying magic of fire dragons. But now if we were to include dragons that are currently alive, well, going into Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, there's a specific person called Ignea, who is apparently Igneal's son, and he is king of, well, god of the fire dragons. So he's a level above Igneal, who was king. So before we go on to Igneal, of course, let's go into a little bit of Ignea. So Ignea is the only living fire dragon, and he is god of the fire dragons. And to become a god of a fire dragon, well, to become a god of an element really, for dragons, you have to be so powerful. But it also makes you question what type of lineage was before that. Who was Igneal and what was he? Was he really the king of the fire dragons to begin with? Or was he the god first, and then did he have to step down in order for his son Ignea to take his place, and he had to just step down as the king? Well, let's go into that a little bit further. So now the next part that we're going to go over is Igneal. So Igneal was king of the fire dragons. It was quite a big surprise once we found out in the Fairy Tale series that Igneal, the dragon that trained Natsu and taught him fire dragon slaying magic, was actually the king of the fire dragons, and he was a very powerful dragon. And that was the biggest surprise for me that happened in Fairy Tale. But it also makes me think that there must have been a really great lineage, or how is a dragon king really declared? Is it declared in the case of Acnologia, where if you're the most powerful out of the full dragons, or in this case your dragon element, is that how you're declared king? Or is it a royal bloodline that is gone through generations and generations, where it's literally dragons after dragons after dragons, and that sort of bloodline is what is the descendancy of fire dragons, which are leaders, so either gods or kings. So I would say, well, let's go over if it was about blood. So let's say Ignea had this royal special blood inside of him, and that's why he was named god of the fire dragons. But then why would it be that the god of the fire dragons couldn't match the power of Acnologia back in the day, and he had to run because, well, he had to run away because he was scared of Acnologia? And now, if you were to take that into account, and also take into account that when Igneal, who is technically the king of the fire dragons, we technically saw that if we were to compare Ignea before Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, so like before he fled to another island, we would technically say that Igneal is technically more powerful than Ignea. So now we're going to go a little bit into what if it was powers that decided your ranking rather than bloodline. So let's say, for example, if it was ranking, so let's say you had to be the most powerful of your element in order for you to become king or even god of that element. That would make no sense, because in Ignea's case, so Ignea, who was probably born, and I'm guessing with dragon gods, they probably don't age as much as normal dragons, or they have a long lifespan. So in this case, Ignea was probably only maybe a little bit younger than he was back when Acnologia was first starting to appear, but he was probably still powerful. But then if we were to compare that to Igneel, who was inside Natsu, creating antibodies within him so that he doesn't turn into a dragon as he was using dragon slaying magic. If we were to compare to that Igneel, who stood toe to toe with Acnologia, even though Acnologia barely took any damage from him, and Igneel was giving his all, even knocked Acnologia unconscious at one point, and sadly in the end, yes, he did die, but he did something that no other dragon was able to do. And I don't think currently even Ignea back where before he fled the island could even do it. He took off Acnologia's arm, and that is the main thing I want you guys to be focusing on. Acnologia's arm, his body, which is supposed to be invincible. Igneel, who was probably a little drained after coming out of Natsu's body, he was able to tear off Acnologia's arm in his dying moments, and he was able to help the Fairy Tail crew in the future take down Acnologia, because of that arm being missing. Acnologia was defeated because he was unable to block the incoming attack of Fairy Tail in Fairy Tail Final Series. So for me, if it was a case that it was based on power, the title that you were given, technically Igneel should have been God of the Fire Dragons, not Igneel. So that's what makes me point it towards more of a blood lineage, where it's a royal dragon blood within Ignea, and he was technically, from birth, he was chosen to be God of the Fire Dragons because that was his royal lineage, because of his special blood. And that would sort of make more sense, and it also would explain why now he's able to boast so much that if he was versus Acnologia right now, he would beat him, because right now you could say his fire dragon god powers has awakened finally, even though it probably didn't awaken back when Acnologia was first around. But thanks to him fleeing the island where Acnologia was and training and probably going through some brutal fights and everything, he was able to unlock that power, which probably Igneel could never do, because he never was able to tap into that source and unlock the potential of a fire dragon god, whereas Ignea did, but he only did it after Igneel died, not before. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think the fire dragon lineage is based around blood, or is it based around power? Do you think I'm wrong about that? Do you think that there may be something else that I'm missing in this sort of theory? Let me know in the comments below. And if I were to guess for the future of the fire dragons, well, if by any chance in the future in the Fairy Tail 100 quest fire dragons were to return, and who would be the leader of them, I would say it'd be Natsu, because Natsu is going to be the one that's going to defeat Ignea at the end of the battle. So technically he will be the most powerful, and even though he doesn't have the royal blood, he will be king rather than god. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of that, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and make sure to comment down below fire if you've came this far into the video. Take care and peace.